Good day, everyone. We are the Group 6, and our topic is all about
Women in Finance. Women in Finance, an economic case for gender equality. Women are underrepresented at all levels of the global financial system, from depositor and borrowers to bank board members and regulators. So we all know na atong mga past generations, women is hindi sila allowed nga mo trabaho sa mga level sectors of business kay kanang it's because nara sila sa balay mo stay or mo take care sila mga children. So our new studies finds that greater inclusions of women as users, providers, and regulators of financial services would have benefits beyond addressing gender inequality. Narrowing the gender gap would foster greater stability in the banking system and enhance economic growth. It could also contribute to more effective monetary and fiscal policy. So, women accounted for less than 2% of financial institutions, of chief executive officers, and less than 20% of executive board members. The proportion of women on the boards of banking supervision agencies was also low, just 17% on average in 2015. So katong mga sa mga nilabay nga mga years hangtod karon nagkataas ang mga women's na nitrabaho na and or nipantay na sa usay mga trabaho sa men's food.
As with the users of financial services, we found a considerable regional migration in the presence of women in banking leadership roles. Sub-Sahara African countries had the highest share of female banking executed, while Latin Africa and the Caribbean had the lowest. Advanced economies were in the middle. We found a gender gap in a leadership that was made a difference when it comes to bank stability. Banks with higher shares of women board members had higher capital buffers, a lower proportion of the non-performing loans, and greater resistance to shares. We found the same relationship between bank stability and the presence of women on banking regulatory boards.
So let's go down to we found the same relationship between bank stability and the presence of women in banking regulatory boards. There are four possible reasons why a higher share of women in bank and supervisory boards may contribute in financial stability. So this talks about how women can contribute in financial stability. Number one, women may better risk managers than men. So number two, discriminatory hiring practices may mean that the few women who do make it to the top are better qualified and more experienced than their male counterparts. So women can contribute to financial stability because women found the research that it's better risk manager than men. So third, more women on boards contributes to diversity of thought, which leads to the better decisions, and institutions that tend to attack and select women in top positions will be better managed in the first place.
our findings strengthen the case for financial inclusions of women to enhance economic growth and foster financial stability. We need more research and better data to explain how to achieve these benefits and to identify the conditions that facilitate the entry of women into leadership roles in banks and supervisory agencies. So let's move on to Women Take the Lead in Finance. Historically, financial planning has been immense responsibility. Over the past decade, the wealth management has shifted towards becoming a female-forward endeavor. So we all know that sa una ang mga lalaki pa'y mangitag trabaho, pero karon lahi na kay ang napod ang uban nga mga women kalang like mga mothers na kay mo kuan pud sila o mo trabaho na pud sila, dili sila magkalupig. In a recent study, Forbes reports that women taking the lead in finance, they are now key decision makers. 9 in 10 women who live with a spouse partners say they are directly involved with financial decisions in the household. It is evident that men and women hold different strengths when managing finances. So, ang lalaki o babae when it comes to financial, lain-lain jud sila o kuan strengths. For example, ang women are more likely to maintain emergency saving funds and allocate more money toward family's goals. Example, family trips and college saving funds. On the other hand, ang men are more prone to taking risks and pursuing business ventures.
So, women in financial services are playing a key role in the industry's future, driving innovation and leading the way into more digital presence. The rise of women in this male-dominated space has been a powerful trend over the last couple of decades. Women working in banks, especially in senior or technology-focused roles, is something of a modern phenomenon. For the past decade, the challenge has been getting women in leadership roles as well as closing the gender gap. So this paragraph is only indicating that women can do what men do.
Why do women make good leaders in financial services? So, before we proceed to the few of reasons in why do women good leaders in financial services, may I answer the question? Because it takes a good listener and a watchful eye, both of which are positive traits in women, to anticipate trends and adapt accordingly. Good leaders also step up to take on extra responsibility, and women have proved to be an example of adding that extra project to their to-do list time and time again. So the first reason is flexibility. In the COVID-19 pandemic, taught the financial services industry anything it's the need more flexibility. From a leadership perspective, it's important to give employees the time they need to manage their individual schedules. This is not a new concept. Women now know that flexibility has always been needed. One study even suggests that the most common problems in the banking sector are overloading and extreme burden of work, extreme time pressure of completion of tasks, more than 12 hours of work duration, long travel, fear of termination of job contract, or etc. So it's easy to see that this quality has only grown in importance and isn't going to disappear after the pandemic because we'll continue to have obligations outside work. So even ang women nga sagyataga na sila o kuan kanang bakasyon sila but they have the kuan nga una-una ra sila sa ilahang work kay ginanglan nila nga dapat mahuman nila ang ilahang kuan task on time. So the second one is certainty. Leaders should display a sense of certainty. It is important to be an example for the rest of the team to feel confident as they work toward achieving the institution's goal. Although women are rated as more effective than their male colleagues in critical areas such as taking initiative, driving for results, bold leadership, and building relationships, women are often harder on themselves, suffering from the confidence gap between men and women. However, diversity and representation in leadership roles are helping to close this gap. As young women see people like them in positions of power, they are more likely to pursue a career in this field and continue to influence change in banking and technology.
Next is adaptability. Good leaders also step up to take on extra responsibility, and women have proved to be an example of adding an extra project to their to-do list time and time again. Leaders should be first in line to raise their hand and take on the extra project.
So adaptability is a person's ability to adjust to exchange in their environment. When thinking about your career aspiration, change have direct effect on how flexibility can be. Practicing adaptability may include how you are able to respond quickly to change. For example, new manager or co-workers have the firing or new ideas for how work can be done. There requires having an open mind as well as sharing your views and ideas. So empathy. Women are relationship builders both with colleagues and with customers. This quality bodes well for a good leaders as learning from challenges. Seeking out wisdom from others, trying to understand employees and working alongside team is the best way to overcome challenges. Exceed customers and employees' expectation as well as achieve innovation and improve ROI or return on investment. So empathy is ability to perceive and relate to the thoughts, emotion, or experience of others. Those with high levels of empathy are skilled to understand a situation from other person's perspective and reacting with compassion.
So let's move on to the advantages and disadvantages of women's empowerment. Advantages. The first one is guides women towards freedom. Once women reach authority, they will be less dependent on the rule of men in their lives. A woman who has gained liberty can decide on her own life path without interference from her husband. For instance, in many circumstances, women still have to ask permission to wear certain outfit, seek a job, and do other things. Not that it's bad, but marriage should be mutual between all parties involved. Nobody, regardless of gender, should ask permission to exercise their basic rights. So the first side advantage really makes sense because women should not hold or limit themselves in terms of exploring or discovering their love craft, and women should not depend their freedom to a man or other people because we are born equally with uniqueness and freedom.
So, second one, helps women be self-sufficient. So, kasabuting self-sufficient, so self-qualified ba usa ka woman nga mo lead siya. So, female empowerment can be approached by providing education to women. As we know, education is the defining factor of individual economic performance. People with higher levels of education typically receive higher salaries. This is major concern because wage plays decisive role in someone's capability to make ends meet. When a woman is educated, she has a higher chance of securing a better job and income. This makes it easier for her to afford daily expenses without getting into debt. Empowerment also helps abolish the gender pay gap because it remains a problem today, although it's very announced and complex. So, if ang usa ka woman nahi higher educations or something na siya mga awards na siya tendency nga mahimong leader or something nga mas mahigher pang iyahang kanang rank sa society.
Number 3, stop prejudice against women. Prejudice means preconceived opinion that is not based on reasons or actual experience. Discriminatory laws are in place across the world hemisphere. Women are regulated to the protected class status, and to make matters worse, this is deeply entrenched in society. They are often denied rights in various fields, including education, health, and employment. Even for something as basic as citizenship, they still get the short end of the stick. The women's empowerment, hopefully, they can move towards brighter future when there is no one oppressions on the basic gender. This way, they can gain equal benefits in political, economic, and legal system. So in these matters,
It's always reminders to us that stop degrading women. Women can do to be a mother. Women can do to be a mother and to be a financial and employer at the same time. So this reminds us that women can do everything what men can do.
So disadvantage. Number one, makes women settle for a massive role. Empowerment is often interpreted as giving women the power to do things of their own accord. The problem here is the word giving, which implies that women have to wait silently until they're hiding it. Even if we fight for equal rights, nothing will happen until people in authority grant those rights. That said, this issue can be discussed from different viewpoints. The most important thing is there are good intentions behind the movement. Anyone who supports the idea should genuinely care for women, not doing it only for virtue's signaling. Second, leads to a feeling of superiority. This is more of unreasoned fear because female empowerment doesn't promote superiority in women. People come together in support of this because they think women deserve their rights back after decades of oppression. The truth of the matter is we can't ignore that this may manifest a sense of superiority because everybody is different. Some might have the tendency to misuse their position of authority. So it explained her that dili lang ang mga lalaki mo na ay authority, but also ang mga babae tapos may authority na makalid sila sa any kind of position.
So, why should women participate in economic development? Women clearly contribute to human capital formation, but coming them into the workforce will result in higher economic growth. Women hold a significant percentage of jobs, but surprisingly, they own fewer assets. The disparity may be attributed to several factors such as unpaid care, work, gender pay gap, and a smaller share of secure jobs. Remember that mainly women must look after kids, which is time-consuming and they don't get paid for this. And if they do have a job, they need to balance it with household chores. This warrants mad props because even with all the limitations, women are considered fundamental drivers of economic growth. So, bisan tod ang mga kasagaran sa women ay kuan na sila kanang magbantay bata, maglimpyo escolar or unsa, pero dili na to kalimtan nga napod sila role nga kinahanglan jud sa economic growth. So dili na to basta-basta nga i-underestimate ang mga women labi na ato ang mga mama. So, before we end our discussion, we would like to leave a beautiful quote by George Carlin